Hello everyone, welcome to my channel BBTechHub. So everyone know right now I'm going through the CCNA series and here I'm discussing about the OSI reference model. In the last some videos I am discussing about the layers and today I'm going to discuss about the transport layer. Is it clear? So which layer? This is the transport layer. But before discussing about the transport layer, I would like to focus some other areas of OSI model, which is very much important right now also. So we have to understand. So the first thing is what is the PDU? So this is the word, maybe several people have heard it, that is PDU, and we call it is nothing but my protocol data unit. We call it as protocol data unit. What it is? Actually, what happens when we human being using the computer and we entering some messages. Just I give the example like that, hello, how are you? I'm just entering the message. So I'm entering the message is going inside the computer like some English structure through some symbols, it may be some numbers, some digits like that. These are called the human understandable language. So data is entering over that. But the moment data is entering through the application layer and when it is going to the physical layer, in the physical layer, it is becoming the electrical signals. In binary, we call it as 0. So you think what a great transformation is taking place from the human understandable format to the machine understandable format. Why I am saying? As an user, I am entering English like thing. So this is the human understandable structure. And when it is passing the data from one system to another system through the cable, it is becoming the electrical signal. So that means, my dear, from the application layer to presentation layer, data is changing in different forms. Every form is data is called as PDU. What we call it as a PDU. So what is PDU? We can say the data format in every layer. Data format in each layer is called as PDU. Is called as PDU. And remember, what is the format of data in the application layer? It will not be same to the physical layer. Is it clear? So these PDU have different format in different level. If I go to the OSI layer, when we are entering the data through the application layer, so in the application, presentation and session, we call the data as data or message. Am I clear? The moment this data is coming to the transport layer, it is renamed as segment. What it is called? Segment. And the moment it is going to the network layer, we called it as packet. In the data link layer, the same data is called as frame. And when this data reach to the physical layer, we call it as a bits or signal. That is, this is the same data, but the format of data is changing gradually, the data passing one after another layer. Like when we are cooking something in the fast phase, what happens when just we give the vegetables, it's a pure color, it is a pure vegetable right now, it is raw. But after sometimes 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you can see the color is changing. If you put the salt, if you put the turmeric, if you put some spices, gradually you can see the color of the vegetable is changing. And after some time, seeing the color also, you can understand whether my vegetable has been cooked or not. That means what happens? If it is a cooking of 30 minutes, so you can see after 5 to 4 minutes, the color of the food is changing. Same way, that is when the data is passing from application to physical. So every layer data is changing. That means what? In every layer data format is changing. So this format in every layer we called is at PDU. Am I clear, everybody? So whenever we call about this data, in the first three layers, we call it as data or message. In the transport layer, we call it as segment. In the network layer, we call it as packet. In the data link layer, we call it as a frame. And in the physical layer, we call it as bits or signal. And please remember, whenever we call by this name, then in the back of the mind, you have to think in which layer we are talking about. If sometimes I say the segment, so you have to recall, that means that I'm talking about the transport layer. If sometimes I say it is the framing of data, so you have to think this is the data link layer. Am I clear, everybody? So I think you all understood this thing that is called the PDU, and we should remember this PDU either in the ascending order or in the descending order. If it is the ascending order, that means we will move from physical layer to the application layer, and if it is the descending layer, then we will come up from the top to bottom. Okay, now I am starting the transport layer. And everybody remember, this transport layer is nothing but my core layer, and this is the middle layer. This is very important. In the previous video, I discussed about the session layer. In the session layer, both the sender and receiver had a communication, had a synchronization, had a negotiation, how communication will take place. Now, when this is confirmed, now data will start transporting. Okay, in the transport layer, what happens? In the transport layer, what happens? Sorry to repeat once again. So in the transport layer, at the sending end, at the transport layer, data is received from session layer. That means session layer is giving the data to the transport layer. Transport layer is adding the header and passing the data to the network layer. And in the receiving end, just reverse happens. What is happening? In the receiving end, the transport layer is receiving the data from the network layer. It is detaching the header and passing the data to the session layer. Understood? So transport layer is considered as the fourth layer of the OSI model. And this is very much important. What are the functions? So you can see what are the functions of transport layer. That is segmentation, reassembling, and sequencing. There is a connection control. There is service point addressing, flow control, error control. Okay. These are the prime responsibility of the transport layer. Is it clear, everyone? So I will go one by one. Fine. So if you talk about the segmentation, what happens, please try to understand. When the bulk data, I'm giving an example over here. I told you also previously. Suppose I'm sending a message, hi, how are you? So this is, dear, it's a message. Is it clear? It's a message. This message is coming to the transport layer. The moment this message is coming to the transport layer from the sender end, this data will be broken down in segments. Suppose I am breaking the data like that. Hi, how are you? Am I clear? This is the 5 parts of the data is broken down. Each one is the segment, and there should be a sequence number. And I am putting this is 1 by 5, 2 by 5, 3 by 5, 4 by 5, and 5 by 5. Why I have made like that? Because this is the 5 segment. The message is divided into 5 segments. Now what will happen? The transport layer will start sending the data. And remember, in the internet, data visit in through different ways. Is it clear? It is not like that data always follow the same way. Data can get the several paths and it can pass through the different way. And in the receiving end, what is happening? You check it out. What happened in the receiving end? In the receiving end, maybe data is arriving like that. That is maybe 4 by 5 parties came fast, then 3 by 5, maybe 1 by 5, then 2 by 5, and then again 5 by 5. So if I go to the 4 by 5, you can say this is the EU. EU is received first, then maybe R is received first, then 1 by 5, that is the high is received next, then number 2 sequence number, that is H, and 5 a question mark. Okay, so you have checked it out, you have received all are the segment, but maybe it is or not in the same sequence number. So now dear, we are having the sequence number is with us. Why not to rearrange it and reassemble this? Now I am going to reassemble the data. How I am reassembling? 1 by 5 first, 2 by 5, then 3 by 5, then 4 by 5 and 5 by 5. So what is 1 by 5? 1 by 5 is my high. 2 by 5 is how. 3 number is the R. This is U. And this is question mark. So you can see what happens. I have arranged my data as per the sequence number. So the moment the sequence number is matching, so ultimately we are reassemble the message in the original format, that is hi, how are you. So did you understand how beautiful it is? So at the sending end, what is happening? The moment transport layer is receiving the data, it is breaking down the data into the segment. And once it break down the data into segment, it put a sequence number with the segment also. And data will travel, not data here, actually a segment will travel independently through the internet and reach to the destination. In the destination, maybe data will not reach sequentially. Data may reach randomly. But don't worry, we are having the sequence number. So once we receive the data and rearrange the sequence number, we can reconstruct our original data, which we called as reassembling. This is the primary function of the transport layer. What happened? At the sending end, data is broken down into segments. Is it clear? And then adding the sequence number. You can see at the receiving end, the sequence number is used to rearrange the data. And not only that, you know, one thing you observe it. Sometimes when it is rearranging, it is maybe observing that sequence number 3 is missing. Sequence number 3 is missing means if you reconstruct the data, are you getting the exact data? You are not getting the exact data. At that moment, the sender device will, the receiver device will request the sender device to retransmit the missed sequence number. That is missed your segment. Am I clear? You can see here, you can go for the error checking also. That's why sometimes we say, and the transport layer error checking is also happens. How? Once the data is going to the reassemble, by seeing the missed sequence number, receiver can send an information to the sender, kindly resend me this sequence number because it is missing while I am reassembling the data. So this is the primary responsibility of the transport layer. Is it clear? In the next video, I will go for the very vital 2 or 3 points of the transport layer. So far, I think you have understood till now whatever I have told, and I will meet you in the next video with the remaining part of the transport layer.